That verse has been used against Islam millions of times. Tonight, we read the whole thing. The next verse, the history, the context. By the end of this video, you will never be caught off guard again. And look, I know most of you have seen this verse before. Maybe someone threw it at you and you just went quiet. Maybe you Googled it at 2 a.m. and came out more confused than you started. Maybe you've been Muslim your whole life and nobody ever gave you a proper answer. This video is for you. Before we get into it, I need you to hold on to 3 things. What does the next verse say? Who actually named this the sword verse and why? And what does the Quran say is the default attitude toward non-Muslims? We are coming back to all 3. Keep them. Right. Intro done. Normally, this is where a YouTube video tells you to smash subscribe before you've seen a single thing. We're not doing that. Instead, what I'm about to show you took 3 days to research. It's going to take you about 7 minutes to understand. Let's go. Here's what you'll find in comment sections, Twitter threads, screenshots sent to Muslims at 2 a.m. Quran 9:5. Copy, paste, send. Job done, apparently. Scary, right? If that was the whole story, I'd be worried too. But here's the thing. That is not the whole verse. The verse is not the whole chapter. And the chapter is not the whole Quran. There's a word for what's happening here. Context. And right now, context is doing a lot of heavy lifting. So let's actually read the verse. The full one. Not the screenshot version, the real one. Read that last line again. This verse, the verse people use to call Islam violent, ends with an open door. But we're not done, because what comes immediately after this verse is the part nobody ever shows you. Quran 9 verse 6, right there, immediately after. The verse immediately after the so-called sword verse tells Muslims to protect non-Muslims seeking safety, give them safe passage, and let them hear Islam without any force. You cannot quote 9:5 without 9:6. That's not even interpretation. That's just reading. But here's where it gets even deeper. Because this isn't just about the next verse. It's about why this verse was revealed in the first place. Let me take you back. Not to some random moment in history, to the exact moment this verse was revealed. The early Muslim community in Medina had peace treaties with Arab tribes, written agreements, signed, official, and some of those tribes broke them. Not once, repeatedly. They attacked Muslims, violated truces, broke every agreement they made. Think of it this way. If someone signs a ceasefire with you, then attacks you 3 times while the ink is still wet, are the original rules of that ceasefire still in effect? Obviously not. This is not my interpretation. This is documented Islamic scholarship, centuries old. Ibn Kathir, one of the most respected Quran commentators in Islamic history, wrote that this verse refers to polytheists who violated their oaths. Not all non-Muslims, not universally, specifically treaty breakers. And now, loop number 2. Who actually gave this verse its nickname? Here's what most people assume. Muslims called it the sword verse because, obviously, wrong. The name sword verse was never used by classical Muslim scholars. It doesn't appear in the major works of tafsir. It doesn't appear in the hadith literature. It came from medieval European polemics. They named it. Then the name spread. Then people started Googling it. And now it's everywhere, attached to a verse that classical Muslim scholars never described that way. Wild, right? But we still haven't answered loop 3, the biggest one. What does the Quran actually say, as a default, about how Muslims should treat non-Muslims? Surah Al-Mumtahana, chapter 60, verse 8. Most people have never heard of it. The default instruction in the Quran toward non-Muslims who are not at war with you is justice and kindness, not hostility, not suspicion, not violence. Justice and kindness. The violent verses in the Quran exist within the context of war. Like, every country on earth has laws for when and how war is conducted. International humanitarian law exists. The Geneva Convention exists. Rules of engagement exist. The Quran has them too. That's not extreme. That's normal. And if you're a Muslim watching this, maybe nobody ever told you about 9:6. Maybe you've been caught off guard and you just froze. Maybe you felt embarrassed by a verse from your own book that you didn't fully understand. That's not your fault. Nobody handed you the full context. That's literally why this channel exists. And if you're not Muslim and you're watching this, genuinely, respect for being here. Most people never get past the screenshot. You watched the whole thing. That already makes you different. The most misunderstood verse in the Quran is misunderstood for one reason: people. Every time someone cuts a sentence in half and calls it proof, they're not reading the Quran. They're reading a screenshot. Your challenge this week is simple. One verse. Learn Quran 9:6. Memorize it. Next time someone sends you 9:5, you say, "Have you read the next ayah?" Every week on this channel, we take the verses people use against Islam, and we read the whole thing. If that sounds like something you need, you already know what to do. Assalamu alaikum.